In my travels in putting together this house for house number one on our company, We Build Houses, I've run across several opportunities that have been presenting themselves with regard to putting together houses for other people. So, our budget right now, we can afford to put together the one house and maybe buy one property. We have enough money to do that internally without getting outside financing, and that kind of makes us in some positions fortunate in ways. But with these opportunities that have been presenting themselves, started looking into getting financing in order to help us with the construction moving forward with on those. Perhaps I was thinking that we could get funding, like roughly about $200,000, in order for us to do this house that we got going in Cottonwood right now, and that would free us up for our cash to be able to go out and acquire properties in order to keep the velocity moving forward with the construction with regard to our subcontractors and our employees that we're going to be hiring ourselves, versus just us putting together this house with the money that we have, listing the property and waiting for it to sell and then moving forward with it. So with that, I've been contacting various hard money lenders and various lenders and stuff like that. Banks, they're about as complicated as you can possibly get. So, and they're slow, and that's something that we don't need. So I don't mind paying the extra for a hard money lender, for example, to come in and fund the project. So I've talked to a couple of them, and some of the qualifications and requirements that they have are interesting, to say the least. We have plenty of money in the bank, like I said, in order for us to qualify for anything that they need with regard to reserves. We have everything else, the plans and the permitting and everything else that they're needing for them to qualify their loans. But the problem I'm running into personally is that because we moved from California to Arizona and we started construction with this house here that we have, we're about ready to be completed with this. As soon as we get the final color code on the stucco and a couple other things inside, we'll have this one completed. But they won't count that in their metrics of how they're trying to qualify us for experience. As well as the work that we did in California was roughly 6 years ago. And so they won't look back that far. They want you to have experience with 3 houses within the last 3 years, which is kind of crazy because at the rate that they're asking for, which is considered like high risk in my opinion, 11.5%, 12%. And I'm okay with the rate, don't get me wrong, because they are taking a chance. But by the time you get to 3 houses, you've already worked with the lender or you're working with somebody that has either that rate or better. So why would you even start to look for somebody with a rate like that? I understand that there are hard money lenders that can only do so many houses and blah, blah, blah. So the interesting thing is that we right now have a property that has roughly about $100,000 in clear equity on it. We own that property clear and free on title, and we're just literally looking for a $200,000 loan to cover the expense of the construction itself. Which that would allow us then to, with the cash that we have, to maintain a good healthy reserve and go forward with buying the next property and getting it permitted, and then getting a financing for that one, perhaps for the construction on that one too, so that the velocity of us moving forward as a company will continue. That's interesting though, because again, so far 2 that I've talked to, the qualifications is what they're more interested in. They don't care the fact that I've been a superintendent 15 years ago with big companies doing tract homes and stuff like that. They don't care that we ran our own engineering company and construction company in California. They don't care about any of that. They just look at the last 3 years. Well, it's taken us literally about a year and a half just to set up the company here in Arizona properly and everything like that. So these are some of the issues that I'm running into. So the experience is kind of confusing on my part, because how do you get 3 houses in 3 years without the experience of 3 houses in 3 years? If you're using your own money like we are right now, we can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's just I find it kind of funny and interesting. So let's see what happens.